Welkom, Danny Devriendt.
Can you... Okay. Can you remember when we were all excited? There was digital, and the world would change. And then social came, and the world would change. And then the so-called off-media would be digitalized, and the world would change. Can you remember that excitement? Where's it gone? 2 years ago, I was at South by Southwest, and I saw the first black president addressing the media, communication, and tech community, asking for help. He was asking our industry for help with big matters, saving the planet, world peace. And then we all woke up with this guy. Where's the excitement, Bliv? And for the first time in history, brands could not be Belgium. Brands could not be Switzerland. Brands could not be neutral anymore. Because if Donald Trump says that Muslims cannot go into the States, and you are Google or your Twitter or your Facebook, and a big part of your population, your working force, is Muslim, there is no way in hell that by just not acting, people will take it. They will take your non-action as an action. And we saw big brands protesting against Trump's anti-Muslim. And all of a sudden, Uber discovered that if you don't take a stance against it, the population will assume that you are for it. And it costed them close to 2.6 million subscriptions. Brands cannot stay neutral anymore. And the hard way, they discovered that every single right, every single thing they buy, every single purchase consumers make is a conscious choice for the value of the brand that brings it to them. That was a new thing in the playing field. And we can say that good brands are all built on ideas and they provide products. But great brands are built on ideals, and that all makes a world of difference in the game, the communication, the media, and the marketing game that we're going to play. Because in the marketing, communication, and media industry, we all suffer from what's called the Droste syndrome. And the Droste syndrome, we know it also as the echo chamber, is exactly this. We listen too much one to another. We go to conferences and we hear our peers talking about how everything is going. But we know that the machine we have, the owned, earned, and paid, and social, that it works really well, and it generates us money, money that pays for us and for our cars, and that's fine. But we're in a business where, and especially in Belgium, we look at media and we look at the game we're playing is, we put a dollar and we look at how hard can we make it sound. How far can it go? We dream about the reach. Reach is in every single deck of ROI. We're all about reach. But on this stage, which is a cultural stage, if a musician needs to concentrate on how hard he can blow and forgets on how well he has to play his tune, the music becomes noise and becomes a nuisance. And I question, if you look at this, and we look at our industry, do some introspection, we have time-shifting view, we have viewability, we have reach, we have ad fraud, we have ad blocking, we have clickbait, we have banner blindness. All of this stuff, we brought it on ourselves by breaking the very tool that generates our income. And to embarrass nobody, I brought a slide from the States. In the States, if you look at banner advertising, it's considered a success if your click-through rate is 0.05%. Let that sink in. If your kid comes home and says, "Mom, I have 0.05% for Latin," or even worse, if the surgeon says, "I have this," appendix, 0.05 success rate, or the pilot tells you, "I have this. On my Microsoft simulator, 0.05% of my landings I master." I mean, our life would be hell, but still, we go in front of our clients until that 0.05% is a tremendous success. And we concentrate on the symptoms. People don't look live anymore. They look in time-shifted viewing. They skip our ads. Let's think about how we can stop skipping the ads. And our ads became so boring that people don't want to see them anymore, and they install ad blockers. Can we invent an ad blocker? Now, that is the wrong question. Why are people basically installing an ad blocker in the first place? And can we talk and think about that? And can we try to find a way to address that issue? There was a survey done in the States. If push comes to shove and Trump and his North Korean confrater would light up the planet, and you have one safe house, who would not make it into your safe house? Now, for the dancers amongst you, bad news. They don't want dancers. They don't want actors. Well, some would for reproduction, but it's not politically correct. Politicians, we would not want politicians in our safe house. And 57 walk-in% of the people would not want us, media, marketing people, in that safe house because they don't trust us very much. On the left, you see my daughter, Tara. She turned 2 weeks ago. And on the right, you see Smart Barbie. And it's almost St. Nicholas. Now, what does Smart Barbie do? Smart Barbie listens and is connected to an artificial intelligence that is emotion smart. To put it bluntly, if Tara is unhappy now, her Smart Barbie will know it before me. Think about that. Now, if she hurts her, and Smart Barbie would say, oh, Tara, that's not bad. I mean, it will heal. I can live with that. But if she looks in the mirror and she says, I don't find myself very pretty, and she's sad about that, that stupid doll will know that before me. And the question I ask from one marketeer to another marketeer, do I want an artificial intelligence fueled by Mattel, who created Barbie and who created Ken as exactly how humans should look like, not like me, but like Ken? Do I want them to interact with my daughter on how she needs to feel when she doesn't feel herself pretty? I don't think so. And we think that these new devices, the Echoes and the Dot that we're going to put in our living rooms, that is going to pose a problem. If you go to Alter, where I live, the receptionist has been replaced by a pepper, and my daughter loves it. But what about the data that Pepper, what about the data that Barbies are going to collect? What are we going to do with it? Can we talk about that for a second? No, luckily, a lot of the talking and thinking about that has been done for us. GDPR in May next year will change dramatically the way in which we can use or misuse data. It basically will put in iron what you can and cannot do with the very data that belongs to a person. Now, IEEE, the International Standards Organization, goes a bit further because GDPR tells you what you can and cannot do from a legal aspect. IEEE tries to find a way to say what you do is right. It's about ethical boundaries, which is completely different. And one of the things, by 2025, the United Nations would like to defend your human rights on your private data as a human right, on the Human Bill of Rights. And basically they say that stealing personal data is on the same level in an infraction as human trafficking. Those are big words, right? Personal data is the new oil of the internet and the new currency of the digital world. We love this. Agencies love this. Advertisers love this. Trade houses love this. The one thing we all forget, it's not our data. Quite a lot of that data belongs to the consumer. And what are we going to do to make sure that the consumer gets the right value out of his data? What are we going to give him back? Because we get money from it, we get fame from it, we get our awards from it. But what does the consumer get back? This is how my dad was taught how to swim in the 50s, because there was no swimming pools. And I have the impression that very often we think about marketing media, we think about it like the 50s or the 60s. But times have evolved. Luckily, our kids don't have to learn to swim like this. But unluckily, quite a lot of people still think about marketing, still think about media as in the dark ages. It's changing, though. There is ads, there's apps, and there is all kinds of stuff, of tools that we can now use to look how to incentivize the consumer on his data. And Miko, for instance, is it's an Australian firm who basically created an app that allows you to control your own personal data and allows you to share that data with a certain advertiser, with a certain party for a certain amount of time with something in return. There is a return. And one of these returns, and I just went to the homepage of Spotify, sorry about that. On the right side, Spotify is for free. It isn't. Actually, Spotify, you get it for free, dear consumer, because it's paid by advertising, right? Now, the second one, unlimited, that's advertising free. But the 4.99 euros that you pay there probably is possible because part of that data will be sold somewhere. So I hope that from an ethical point of view, in a couple of months, in a couple of years, we're going to have a fourth column. Probably a 9.99 that says like you will have no ads if you don't want to, and we don't use your data for anything other than having you the ultimate music experience. We don't sell your data to anybody else because you're not opted in for that. That's where we're heading. So I think that we're heading for an ethical hour, an hour where we need to look into the mirror, and we have Fierce Girl on Wall Street looking the raging bull in the eye.
We made it a consumer good. Because the consumer does not realize. Consumer does not realize because the food system, we have disconnected people from their food. We are losing them, literally. They're just getting out of our shops, getting out of our brands, finding their own alternatives. They are going for food without us, without the food industry. That's what is happening.
That was the CEO of Danone. Actually, he's getting it. Quite a lot of CEOs of big brands are getting it. And purpose is a new excitement on digital. Purpose is a new excitement on media. And it's not that difficult. Customers will look at this and will look at the cross borders between culture and commerce and conscience. And it's called equity and ethics and empathy. And we'll look how brands score on that. And if you look at a very simple way, we earn our money by this. But we forget to ask two questions. What and why are we communicating? Because the machinery, the tools that we have in place to get our message to the right person, that works really well. And if you look at it, a good piece of content is or to the left, very, very util, or it triggers an emotion. Meaning that, or it's something logical, I am ethical, or I'm really passionate about it. And in an ideal way, we find a way, a crossroad for all that to happen together.
If I was Prime Minister, I would make it illegal. At the wrong time. Why does he get $5?
That's just the way it is.
$7. It should be flat out illegal. Like, I'm not joking. I'm not being unreasonable.
Women and men should have the same money. They should have 50-50. 60-60 if you want to do 120.
It should just be how hard you work.
If you do the same work, you should get paid the same money.
What we're trying to tell you is that it's not fair that boys get paid more than girls.
Maybe if the men noticed they were being paid more than the women, they should speak up about it.
When I am older, I'm going to make a change. If I don't forget.
So we need to make the shift from what you offer to why you matter. We know what products you bring on the planet, but why do you matter? And Mr. Pritchard says, don't let the fox guard the hen house. I would like to stop this presentation with Mark Pritchard took $140 million out of digital advertising in Europe. It didn't hurt his sales. And part of that money he put into different advertising.
Dat is goed. Het is van ons ontzettend veel.
Hé, laat dit in, hoor. Hoe staat de motor?
E aí, gatinha? Tu tá indo pra onde? Tu tá indo pra onde?
大赛马上要临近了。
无受得了。
儿子，你行的啊，你可以的，孩子。
P&G, proud sponsor of moms.
I know what you sell, but what's your purpose? Thanks a lot.
Dank u wel.